1045 The Team, your home for New York Jets football. We have the man who covers the Jets for ESPN and ESPN.com, Rich Cimini, with us. Rich, any truth to the rumor that you will be the starting quarterback for the Jets the rest of the season?
I'm game. Yeah, I mean, they might as well just have an open edition like American Idol or something like that. You know, just bring everyone down, and that's where they are at the quarterback position right now. It's really not pretty.
So Bryce Petty will start the rest of the way out, and I've been pretty outspoken on the show, and I know you have as well. How many weeks late is this, and is a month enough time to figure out what you have in Bryce Petty?
Yeah, a couple of weeks late. I thought they should have done it a couple of weeks ago. They felt that Fitzpatrick still gave them the best chance to win, even though they weren't winning. So yeah, it's probably. But 4 games is enough. Should be enough sample size to see what they have in Petty. Right now, I don't think the Jets believe he's going to be their starter next year. I think they're somewhat skeptical. I think they'd have to be really convinced over these next 4 games. But at this point, it's the right move. I mean, it's play the guy. Just see what he can do. I mean, they're facing the worst defense in the league this year in San Francisco this week. So maybe they'll have a chance to do something.
Rich, if it's not Bryce Petty, who's the starting quarterback? Like, who are the options that you can think of?
You mean for next year?
Yeah.
Well, it won't be Christian Hackenberg. I mean, he's really a ways away from, being at that level. I'm not sure he'll ever get to that level. He's a major project. So, and I tend to doubt it would be Petty. So, you're going to have to, and I don't think they'll draft anyone. I mean, obviously they're going to be picking pretty high, probably in the top 5. So I just don't see a blue-chip quarterback in this draft based on the scouts I talk to. Now, there'll probably be guys drafted highly, like a Deshaun Watson, because teams are so desperate for quarterbacks. The supply and demand will raise the value of these guys, and they'll be overvalued. So I don't really see the Jets doing it in the draft. They'll have to do it in free agency. Or make a trade. I think Mike Glennon from Tampa Bay is a free agent to keep an eye on. Everyone wants to know would they go for Tony Romo. I tend to doubt. I wouldn't rule that out, but I tend to doubt it just because the Jets are going to be they're going to be more than a quarterback away next year from contending, and I don't think Romo would come into a rebuilding situation like that.
Let's go back a bit about the situation, the plan, Bryce Petty starting the final 4 games. Did Ryan Fitzpatrick know that was the plan, and how was he told about this now situation of Petty taking over?
He did not know before the game. Why would Todd Bowles tell him before the game? I mean, that wouldn't be a very good coaching move to do that. So I just thought they handled it really awkwardly after the game. Bowles announced it in his press conference, and so Bowles is walking off the podium and Fitzpatrick's walking up, and I think at some point in those few seconds behind the curtain where we don't see the passing of the 2 men, I think either a PR guy or Bowles, told Fitzpatrick in about a second or 2, hey, you're done, you're demoted. And Fitzpatrick walked to the podium and answered questions. There are some who believe that Fitzpatrick didn't know until reporters started asking him questions. He looked kind of taken aback when someone asked him about being benched for the last 4 games. So the Fitzpatrick has been bad this year, but he deserved to be treated better than that. He's a respected veteran on the team. No one should lose their job in that kind of scenario. So it was poorly handled by the Jets.
1045 The Team, we're joined by Rich Cimini, covers the Jets like no one else for ESPN.com and the Mothership.
And that holds a lot of weight when it's a veteran quarterback that's being told in that way, because other veterans look at that and say, how will I be treated? Is that a sign that Todd Bowles is definitely losing this locker room?
Yeah, it could be a sign. It's a sign of something, and it's a sign that's not good. Let's put it that way. Now, losing the locker room is such a vague statement. I think we tend in the media to say that. I mean, it's really, really hard to lose an entire locker room. I mean, you just have to have a total mutiny, and I don't see that. But, yeah, I do think some older veterans on the team will look at a situation like what happened last night with Ryan and say, what the heck? It definitely does not help Todd Bowles' credibility, and that's really what he's fighting for right now, not only with the fan base, which has turned on him completely, but also with his own players and how he handles these next 4 weeks, which will be a very tumultuous time. How he handles those 4 weeks will determine whether he keeps his job.
Rich Cimini with us right now. And so, Rich, is it a situation where, and I know this is kind of splitting hairs, but if he handles 4 weeks well, he can save his job, or if he handles it poorly, he can lose it? Like, if the season ended today, would he still be the Jets coach next year?
Well, I mean, that's hard to say. It's really a hypothetical. It's hard to say. I mean, I don't think Woody Johnson wants to fire him. I mean, if you're asking me right now to bet on whether Bowles will keep his job or not, I'd probably say he keeps it. You know, maybe like 70-30, 75-25, he keeps it. I just really don't think Woody Johnson wants to go down that road again. You know, 2 years ago, they tore it down completely, and they started over with a new coach and GM. And I think he really wants to create some continuity. And Bowles is a good guy. He's got a strong football background. You know, has he done a good job this year? No, he hasn't. He did a good job last year, though. So I don't think you can discount that. And it just depends. Now, if they go out and get blown out at San Francisco, I think that really changes. San Francisco is terrible. I mean, they've lost 11 in a row. If the Jets lose that game badly, then I think, ask me that question again next week, I might have a different answer.
Let's say, for instance, and I know it's again a hypothetical, but it's at least going to give Jets fans something positive to look forward to. If Petty does play well, is there a chance he tells organization management, look, if he plays well the final 4 games, maybe he is our starter in 2017?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's open. I mean, there's no one else they have. I mean, Fitzpatrick's gone, and he'll be a free agent. Gino's a free agent. I don't think he's coming back. So, yeah, I mean, if Petty does something here, I mean, it's going to be tough to win on the road against the Patriots in Week 16, but the other games are winnable. I mean, if Petty goes 2-2 or 3-1 and plays reasonably well, then, definitely I think he'd have a chance to, probably compete with Hackenberg next year for the job. It's just going to be really hard for Bryce. He hasn't played. You saw last night was a tough situation. It's probably not even fair to judge him. He came into a blowout game, was throwing on every down, but he's got a ways to go in terms of reading defenses. And let's face it, there's really not a whole lot of talent around him. So if he can do a great job these last 4 games, God bless him.
Levack Goz with Rich Cimini right now on 104.5 The Team. So, you had mentioned this a little earlier, Rich. The fans have turned on Todd Bowles. Woody wants to keep him. If this is one of those situations where at the end of the year, you're still kind of 50-50 on Bryce Petty, and they have lost some questionable games, does a guy like Chan Gailey get the axe? Is there like a message sent like, all right, Todd, you keep your job, but somebody has to go. We have to feed the fans somebody. Yeah, that will happen, I think. Yeah, you don't go through a year like this and just say to your fans afterwards, we're going to stay with the status quo and everything's cool. We're coming back next year. You have to throw some flesh to the masses, and it'll probably be Chan Gailey. Todd Bowles is basically the defensive coordinator. So they could fire the defensive coordinator, Casey Rogers. He's really it's only in title only that he has that position. But, Gailey has not done a good job. And I like Chan. I thought he did a great job last year. Right. Has not done a good job this year. They're just awful on offense. They've scored 36 points in the last 3 games. And it's not like they've gone against great defenses either. So, I could totally, Chan is 63 years old, I want to say. I could see him retiring at the end of the year and walking away to kind of a mutual parting for sure. If you're a Jets fan, you better be checking out Rich Cimini at ESPN.com every single day. He's got all the scoops for you. Rich, we appreciate your time. We know you're busy. The Jets keeping you very busy right now, but we appreciate you making a couple minutes for us. It was my pleasure. Thanks, guys.